Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends, yes, welcome. My name is Vincenzo, and the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy, and welcome back to the recap. We took a week off last week. It was a really hectic week, and in one of my segments, I'm going to give you a snapshot of some of the family events that we took care of last week that prevented me, in a nice way, from playing with my pens, my ink, and my paper and presenting you with the regular weekly recap. It's the summer months, and there may be another pause that I might take because I've planned a vacation. I'll talk to you about that as well, and what I have in store in terms of my traveling pens. So yeah, welcome back. In the meantime, it hasn't stopped, folks. It just keeps coming in. And I've got lots of stuff to share with you. I've got some new paper that I received. There's one particular paper that I'd like to swatch and compare to Tomoe River that I forgot to include in my Tomoe River Ultimate Challenge, if you will, and I think that I want to review with you this week. I've got some new inks, and we've got a beautiful Pens Revisited segment, I think. There's going to be kind of a sequel to my last week's video on the Mont Blanc 146, 149. Then I just want to, what I figured for my weapons for next week is that I'm going to take a look at all the most recent purchases I've made and kind of bring them all back. So it's kind of a semi-revisited weapons for next week. I've enjoyed the pens that I've purchased or received in the last several months, and I've been enjoying them very, very much. So you know what? Why not include them in my weapons for next week? In terms of next week, there's only a few because then I'm going on vacation. I'll talk to you about that as well. So without any further ado, as they say, Fountain Pen Therapy presents the weekly recap for August the 2nd, 2026. We're already in the month of August, folks. Enjoy. So we're back. Before we get to market news and before we start the recap, some personal news, as they say. First of all, thank you very, very much. I received from most of you happy birthday wishes. Congratulations for my son's engagement. We had a very, very beautiful week last week. My son was in, my eldest was in from Portugal. So we played some golf together along with my brother and my nephew. We got a few games in. We got to chat. We got to go to some restaurants, enjoy the family. It was really a lot of fun. And then Saturday night was my youngest, who proposed to his future wife while he was on vacation. You'll see here a photograph that I'm posting of him embracing his future wife with the ring right in front of the Fariglioni of Capri. That's what you see in the background. So he's in Capri on the Amalfitano coast, and he sprung the thing on her. He had planned it, the flowers, the photographer, the private boat trips, the whole thing. So congratulations to my youngest. And so when he got back from vacation, he had already planned it along with my wife. They planned a big party at our house. It was in our backyard. We have pretty pretty big backyard. We're about 100 people. We had tents. I was completely terrified, folks, because I was afraid that we would get rain and then it would be a complete mess. But as it turned out, it was a beautiful, beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. In fact, some would say maybe a little too warm. But, the party started around 5:30. The sun set. Then we had lights. We had food under the tents. It was catered. We had a pizza guy that made fresh pizzas on the spot for you. We had the bartender. We had the music. Here's just a couple of shots of my son cutting the cake, so to speak. He had this huge cake that he cut with his future wife. You can see me and my wife there on the right side. Then you see my son dancing with his fiancée, it was just great. And at the end, it was late in the evening, and I'll show you here a little video. Two of my sons, my middle child and the youngest, who was celebrating, as you can see here in this short video, decided to take a dip in the pool, so you can see them splashing into the pool. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, we had just a wonderful time, and thank God we had great weather. As far as my birthday concerned, here's a shot of me and the whole family. They prepared the candles, the whole thing. My present for the birthday was, I got myself the present. I said, folks, don't buy me anything. I want my Dolce Vita glow. And that's what I got from Delta. And you can see here another photograph of where my son brought me a little gift from Amalfi, and I'll be able to show you that it's a kind of a leather tray that I'm going to use for my pen recaps, etc. They'll see that in a few minutes. So there you have it, just kind of some personal shots there of the family, and I thought you'd enjoy that. That's it for personal news. Now we're going to get back down to business. So let's get down to what we're here for, my recap. Be right back. Okay, so market news. What have we got for you in market news? Well, I don't have much for you other than Chinese. The rest is really quiet. It's the summer months. I mean, you've got, new summer colors for Kawekos and Easterbrooks and that sort of thing, but it's really rehashing the same pens. Not much excitement there. But I don't know. You scrape the barrel in the Chinese market just to try to find something, just because the big players are fairly quiet. But there's some novelties, and I'll leave that to the end of this segment. But let's take a look at others that I've seen. Some are bizarre, and some appear to be less than legitimate, but others are pretty well legitimate. So let's go to my computer and let me show you what I've been able to find. Okay, first of all, I was attracted by this pen, and you see in the description PK ADMOC M800. Now, every time I see PK, and I've seen that before, I know it means something else. It's like somebody is adopting a name somewhere. This is not an M800 as far as I know. And it's certainly not an ADMOC M800. It's a very attractive pen, mind you. It comes in various colors. I've seen this being sold by Tag Moon. In fact, I've ordered one. But here it's described as that. And I think it's just, somebody's trying to capitalize on a name to trigger a purchase. It's $80. It comes in different nibs. I'm not sure it's worth the price, but I wanted to just show you. And then the same pen is being sold, in my view, under Balaoi, and it's got those flex nibs, and I think it's just an excuse to sell these flex nibs that we've seen from Fullen. So I don't know what's going on. I see the words Balaoi, I've seen the PK, I've seen pens being passed off as Wing Sungs. So you got to be careful, but it doesn't detract from the fact that this is an attractive pen, but not at $107. So buyer beware. Next, what have I got for you? I just noticed this nib. I think this probably fits into a Lamy Safari, and it comes in this long knife, with this kind of an architect grind there, or naginata grind, long knife grind. If you guys are into those types of grinds, this may be an alternative to put into your Lamy Safari. I'm assuming it would fit perfectly. I've not tested it. There's really no reference in the description to it, but it sure looks like it would. Next, here's the Wingsung 116. Now you've seen, and I think there's one reviewer in particular, and I forget which or whom, reviewed the 296, the 286, and this is the 116. Again, very attractive, design on the barrel and the cap. The unfortunate thing is that I've got a feeling that these are very cheap acrylics, and that I really question. I've purchased one, and I'm trying to get a few to put them all together, and then I'll show them to you all at once. That nib is not bad, actually. I've tested it. But at $86, I think it's a ripoff. I really don't believe it's worth that. But that's something new. This caught my eye. Not that I'm going to purchase it tomorrow morning, but it's the Wingsung 629 in this metal finish, resembling either a 146 or a 149, with a Yunline 18-karat standard nib. But look at that, it's going for $1,000. So I just thought I'd show it to you. I'm not sure that it is worth $1,000, but there you have it. Now, this one's attracted my attention. Now, here again, is this really ADMOC? Or is there somebody else passing themselves off as ADMOC? This is the ADMOC 631, or so they say. And it's a wooden finish that looks a lot like the Ongdian version. What is it, the A10? I forget now. The wooden pen with the magnetic closure. I think this is probably a genuine ADMOC. Again, $82. It does come with a Yowo nib. Long knife nib, it's even more expensive at $114. I'm debating, I'm not sure. I'm going to try to see if I could find the same pen on Taobao and purchase it at a much lesser price. Then I got this. Now, this is another use of, standard or more well-known Chinese brands. New style MAJOHN C4. This is not a MAJOHN C4, folks. MAJOHN C4 is a transparent acrylic pen that has that little short clip that people complain about. That's the C4. But it nonetheless, it doesn't take away from the fact that this is a fairly attractive pen with that steel section and the steel clip and the steel trimmings. It did attract my attention. It talks about it being an eyedropper. I don't understand how it would be given the metal. It's, wood on metal. And then when I look at what they offer, they are offering it in a with a converter. So I don't know what they mean by eyedropper. You got to be careful. Could be a Chinese English translation issue. But there again, some very, very funny. And I've seen this pen actually under the name AJ10, A10, I guess, trying to imitate the Ongdian. I see it under various other branding. So buyer beware again. But here's the legitimate one. And this I was really surprised. The MAJOHN P141 has come out with these two wonderful finishes. Resembles a lot my 146 with the solitaire and with these, pinstripe or kind of a wave here. What's fun about it, I think, is that it comes with this section that's not slippery. It's acrylic. You see your MAJOHN nib, and this is, if I'm not mistaken, well, no, it's a P141, so by definition, it's a number 8 size nib. You can also get it in a black striped finish or the mountain pattern black. So you can get, I see they call it the silvery stripe or the mountain pattern silvery, or you can get it in this black matte finish. I've ordered one of each, and when it comes in, I will let you know. It goes for $52, which is not a bad price, but I noticed another pen that attracted my eye is this one, and I'm now wondering, it doesn't say MAJOHN, and it's being sold, let me just see here, for $102. Now, I purchased it for a lot less, and this is the first one I saw. So I was attracted by the finish. So I said, let me order it. And I ordered it at a premium price. And then, I think just a few hours later, when I was surfing AliExpress, I noticed that MAJOHN had come out with their P141 at half the price. So I got taken, but I took one for the team. You'll be seeing all 3 of them sometime shortly, and we'll do a comparison and see if somebody's trying to steal MAJOHN design pens and selling them off with some obscure name at lesser prices. So these days, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of all kinds of pens bearing all kinds of names, and sometimes the same pen bearing the same name. So there you have it in terms of market news. Some things to look out for and be aware, and buyer beware, and then there's some interesting propositions as well, especially that MAJOHN. So there you have it for market news. Stay tuned for my next segment. Be right back. Okay, so we've taken a look at some market news, some personal news. Let's take a look at what's new in the fountain pen therapy studios. And as usual, we will start with paper. Okay, so we'll go to my overhead camera and show you what I've got. Now, all of you know that I'm going absolutely berserk over this Crena paper. And I think I'm going to end up doing a review of this paper and why I think this is the ultimate fountain pen paper. And that's made me forget all about Tomoe River paper, the original number 7 machine paper. I'm enjoying this paper so much, folks. I mean, the paper, look, I touch this and you can feel the writing. It's like Braille. It is really, really nice. I cannot stop using this paper at every turn. I'm enjoying it so much that I've ordered all kinds of stuff from the Crena stationery store. You can find it in either Taobao or Super Value, I think it's called. And I understand that once in a while AliExpress may have some as well. But in the meantime, look what I've received. And I think I'm going to do a video on all these products. I received this little guy, which is a diary in kind of a mini form. As you can see, it's smaller than my hands. And look at this. It's just gorgeous. Much thicker paper. And I'm going to get into all the details eventually. But I figured I'd get everything they have to offer. That's one. That's this Crena mini diary. Then I have another kind of a diary, a mini, but it's a little bit bigger, okay? It's the A6 version of my free diary or Liberté diary. So it's the A6 version. And as you can tell, it's exactly the same format as the A5 version. Same thing at the top. It's just an A6 size. And man, this is going to find its way for sure in one of my traveling books, traveling cases. I also ordered the Weekly Classical 2026. I wanted to see what weekly meant. and it's got some nice features. So we're going to do a really detailed review of that. And this is kind of an Obonichi inspired sort of set. The A5 and the A6 diaries come with these mini calendars that you could use because they're not dated, of course. And then I ordered another diary, another A5 diary Liberté, because I just don't want to run out. I'm just afraid that they're just going to go out of business or won't longer be around, and I wouldn't have enough of this paper, so I'm hoarding it. So this is kind of in the black finish. I have it in the pink rosé cover and also in the white ivory cover. So I'm kind of ordering. Every time I look at the Crena stationery store, I decide to buy another one. Then I've received these. Oh, this is a Tomoe River one. Yeah, I received these. These are A5 sized, and they're kind of punched. So at the same time, just give me a second here. I've ordered, and I'm ordering, and I keep ordering until I find the right one. I've ordered a bunch of these binders that have these 6-hole punch this way. I mean, this is nice. I just wasn't expecting it to be such cheap, plasticized fake leather. I'm not pleased about this one. I don't know to what extent I'll put it to use. I did order this one. I like it. It may not be any better in terms of quality of the leather. I just like the way it kind of looks and feels. And by the way, the paper that was in here is really nice. We'll take a look at that in one of the subsequent segments. We'll do some writing in here. So all of these, and I've got 100 sheets. This one is the 5mm. Is it? I don't know if it's the grid. No, it's the 3.5 5mm. I know this is the lined version. Yeah, lined version. And this may be the, I don't know what it is, frankly. Now I'm lost. Maybe I should open it just to see what kind of paper it is. I don't know what 8.5 means. I have no idea. Let me just see. Oh, I see. It's the actual lined version. You can see that. But it's, oh, I see. It's instead of being horizontal, it's vertical. And this one must be vertical. Okay, this is the grid. Okay, this is like the graph version. And is this the, and they're all star rainbow, by the way, because you need star rainbow. That's the best one. And what is this one? Okay, this is just, I can't see. Oh, this is dot grid. It's hardly noticeable, but it's dot grid. So I have line, dot grid, and graph, and we're going to put those in kind of binders. They're 100 sheets. I'm going to put them in binders like this, and we'll find some use for them. So there you have it. More products, more Crena products, but I didn't want to get too deep into them because my intention is I think I've ordered more stuff. So when I get them all, I think I'm going to do one video on the best fountain pen paper, in my opinion, which is Crena. But if you can get your hands on, folks, look, you have to like 52 GSM, and you have to live with a little bit of ghosting. But this has even less ghosting than Tomoe River. But the quality of the writing experience is just, I'm going to repeat it until everybody buys one. It's just simple as that. So there you have it. That's Crena. But having said all of that, that's not the paper that I want to swatch with this week. This week, what I noticed is that I never bothered to take a look at APICA, the premium CD notebook. And so we're going to do some, which is premium paper. We're going to do some swatching with this paper. And let me just get, it's a little bit too wide. Let me adjust my camera here. Yeah, this is a kind of big A4 size notebook. You can get it in all kinds of sizes. And it's the CD premium notebook It's great paper, by the way, Japanese, very thick, very smooth. The type of paper I don't like, unfortunately, because it's just too coated for me, but really nice paper. Much more coated than anything you've seen, I think, on my channel so far in that challenge that I did. Very, very coated and thick to boot. So we'll do some swatching on this paper and we'll compare it to, this is these, I bought loose sheets like this, Tomoe River number 7 machine. This is the A5 and this is the A6. So, we're dealing with the real stuff. So we'll do our swatching. And I think what I need to show you next is what inks I have for you this week. So give me a second. We'll set up and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back with the inks. I have more Shinsan ink in these bottles, in this, I should say, cardboard box that really looks like what Irishusuku boxes look like, and the bottles are kind of inspired, I would say to you. There's quite a big difference between, but on the other hand, there's some similarities as well. I like the size. First of all, this is 50 millimeters. Now, a viewer mentioned that I made a mistake, that the Irishusuku are 60. Could it be? Let me just check. No, they're not 60. Whoops, my camera is not cooperating. Let me just adjust the camera. Yeah, so I was saying these are 50 milliliters, as you can see. Shinsan. The Irishusuku are also 50 milliliters. They're not 60. Okay, not the ones I have. The difference, and it's surprising because some viewers said, well, maybe, it looks like there's more ink in the Irishusuku. I haven't measured them. I can tell you that maybe the bottle is slightly girthier. But look, I haven't measured it. I'm assuming there's 50 in there. Maybe when I finish one, I'll measure it. In the meantime, I'm really enjoying these Shinsan inks. And this week, we have 3 more. We have the turquoise, we have the malachite, and we have the brown quartz. So those are going to be the 3 inks for you this week. And we're going to be doing some swatching. And we're going to do the swatching with my new MAJOHN pen, if I can find it. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Okay, here it is. That's the beauty of not doing these things live. You can always go upstairs and pick it up where I forgot it. I left it on my desk upstairs. We're going to swatch with this MAJOHN B, what is it, N15, where I broke the tip, and in breaking the tip, it's now become kind of a cursive italic stub sorts, if I get the right angle. So we'll continue to enjoy that. So that will be my swatching, and of course my or the writer, and this will be my swatcher. Folded pen for those of you who do not follow my station. That's what I swatch my inks with. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with malachite. Do some big swatches because we've got some A4 size paper here. So we've got lots of room. There we go. Oh, I like this color. There's a little bit of teal in there. It's kind of Konpeki-ish. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, let's wash that out. Let's do some writing. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try not to get ink all over the place. So this is the Shinsan. Oh, yeah, malachite. Is it M-A-L-A? See how thick it is? just because what malachite, there's no S. Shinsan malachite. That's really nice. Gotta tell you, that's really, really nice. Okay, wash that out. That's okay. Here we go. Dry off the nib, and we'll close that bottle. I really like this ink. I gotta tell you, folks, you gotta take a look at these inks. Okay, Shinsan. Now, some of you mentioned you got to be careful. Chinese inks, they might have all kinds of chemical properties that ruin your pens. And you know what? I'll take my chances. I'll let you know if any of my pens get ruined. But I doubt it. I really doubt it. Okay, here we go. This is brown quartz. My experience has been that usually brown inks have a tendency to be dry inks, or at least the ones I have in my collection, and I just don't have enough of them. And I always end up going to the same ones. One of my favorite brown inks has become Leonardo Sepia, Leonardo Noce Moscata. And I'm running out, so I'm going to have to add some because it's quickly dwindling. Oh, I closed that. I shouldn't have closed it because I got to do some writing. Okay. You miss 1 week, folks, and you're out of practice. It's like starting all over again. Okay, let's see how this one does. Shinsan brown quartz. This paper does really well with thicker pens, but it has a tendency to feather a little bit. It's much smoother. You're not faced with a squeaky sound as much as you are with some other coated paper, but there is a tendency for the paper to, with some inks anyway, feather, and we'll take a look at that once. You can start to see it already, but the camera is a little bit further out because the paper is much bigger. It's an A4, but we'll do a close-up once everything is dry. Next is turquoise. Anxious to see what turquoise looks like. And the inks just don't pop on this APICA paper. They really don't. Have a tendency to dry quickly and just kind of be flat. Turquoise, similar. There's a little more green in it, as it should, than the malachite. Okay, we'll leave that in. So this is, again, yeah, you see from one ink to another, the malachite doesn't feather so far. The brown quartz does, and so far the turquoise is holding up. And there's no such thing as feathering with Tomoe River, at least with 99.9% of the inks there isn't. Turquoise. Is that the way you spell it? Yes, Vince, you got it. Okay, there you go. There you go. Those are the inks. What I propose is we let all this dry and we'll come back and take a closer look. Be right back. Wow, you don't know what I just did. I should have left it. 1 week you missed the PCAP, or you missed playing with your pens and your videos and the rest of it, and You're completely lost. I went on for about 3 minutes and I did my review in French, believe it or not, until I realized that I was missing some vocabulary because I didn't know the equivalent in the French language. And it dawned on me that I was doing the review in another language. My God. I think I really need a vacation in any event. We're back for the inks. That's funny. So take a look at that. The malachite is really nice. The camera shows it. I mean, it's still a little wet. It's Tomoe River, right? Tomoe River takes a lot longer to dry compared to that APICA, which dries immediately. Or the CD premium notebook. This is nice. It's got a little bit of a red sheen there. Nice color. Malachite kind of writes a little darker than the swatch. The brown quartz has got kind of a reddish, purplish tint, which is a nice change. Although when you write with it, it really is more brown than purple. And then you got the turquoise, which has got that green sheen, the blue, dark blue sheen, but kind of a greenish shading, going from light green to the more blue, which gives it the turquoise. So, and of course, Tomoe River being 52 GSM, you could see the spillover. There is some, ghosting and some penetration there in the back, but that's to be expected. As compared to this CD premium notebook. Now, I said APICA. I'm just wondering. Yeah, it is APICA. APICA is the manufacturer. You can see it's very dull. The ink has less sheening. It is a little more bluish than it is dark. The brown comes out brown as opposed to reddish brown. And you can see the feathering. You see that on the brown? Quite a bit, in fact. You don't see it on the turquoise. You don't see it on the malachite. But the ink's kind of really understated, kind of flat. And it dries up really quickly, by the way. And there's, believe it or not, as thick as this paper is, as you can see, it goes right through. Brown seems to be even more problematic than the rest. And this is what, 80 or 100? Let me just see. I think it's 80. Yeah, I think it's 80. And still, you get the penetration. So, thought I'd mention the paper. I think some of you may have wondered why was it not included. But you can see from the results of that swatching why I did not include that pen in my finalists, or that paper as part of my finalists. Nice paper. Maybe you can write with it with some inks and some pens, but not the best. Not the best in my estimation. So there you have it. That's the swatching, and stay tuned for the next segment. Okay, so I'm back. I thought that given you've seen what these inks look like when I swatch them, and oftentimes I think it's useful to take a look at how they write. And what I've done is I've inked some of my favorite pens here. I've got the 630 with a broad nib that we've put in the turquoise ink in. This is a 630 medium that I put in the what do they call it, brown quartz. And this is my Wingsung 699 that I put in my malachite. So let's just see how these inks. So these are the Shinsan inks. And the first one is the turquoise. I think it just matches beautifully with this pen. Don't you think? Yeah. And I have the Wingsung 630 with a broad, and it's got that new number 8 nib on it. Really nice. The ink is flows really nicely. I would say it's more than just medium flow in terms of wetness, and not an overly dry ink. Very nice. I'd like to think that it resembles a little bit the Iroshizuku, but that's very nice. So there you have it. Let's take a look at the brown quartz. This is my 630 medium nib. So this is the brown quartz. .630. This is the medium nib, and of course it's a number 8 steel. Again, very pleasant. The brown has a tendency to be a little bit drier, I would say to you, but still very nice flow. Good inks so far, anyway. So that's the brown quartz, and this is the malachite. Now I noticed that this pen, usually I get a good fill in the 699s with the vacuum. This one had some issues. So this is the malachite, and this is the Wing Sung. 699. It's got that old styled medium number 6 steel. Yeah, this ink is a little bit drier than the others, I would say to you. But still very pleasant, very nice ink. So there you have it. Now on the other side there's some writing, so you can't really see, but there's no feathering. The ink really performs nicely. It doesn't give me too much, you know, I don't see a hell of a lot. I see some shading here on the malachite, a little bit less on the turquoise. The brown ink is pretty straightforward ink, I would say to you as well, but still some nice inks, good quantities at great prices. So there you have Shinsan inks. Be right back. Okay, so we're back for the pen haul. What pens did I receive this week? Before we get to the pens, I want to show off this product. It's made out of leather. My son, my youngest, the one who went to Italy on the Amalfitano coast and proposed to his wife on a boat near the Faraglioni in Capri, and you saw some pictures. He brought this back to me. This is a beautiful leather product that now I could use to kind of just demonstrate my pens, and that's the first one I wanted to show you. You saw the review this week of the PSP Saratoga, Lotus Saratoga. It's a collaboration between Peyton Street Pens and, you know, Terry Morris was very happy. She liked the review, thanked me for it, and I, of course, thanked her because she gave me the opportunity to review this pen and show it off to you. Beautiful product, I've got to tell you, but the nib and the writing with this pen is even more impressive. So that's, you know, one of the pens with that imperial nib. Now, some of you pointed out that, you know, somehow the colors don't match. Yes, it would have been ideal to have, you know, the same resin, but of course you can't. These are kind of leftover imperial nib sections that are combined with this. So this is as close as you can get. Some of you mentioned that it's just not right, that they don't feel the look is not right. I have no idea what you're talking about. I got to tell you, I enjoy this pen. I think it's nice. I think proportionally it fits. But, you know, everyone has got an opinion, and I respect it. I just don't understand what it is that you feel is not right. Yes, I mean, you know, the section is long, but I think it's proportional. I don't see other than the color, why it wouldn't be. So that's the first pen that I want to add to my pen haul this week. Beautiful pen. Now, what else have I got for you? Let's just put this aside. I finally got a MAJOHN pen that I realized I did not have in my collection. And I bought it with this little case. Can you guys guess? It's a pocket pen. And it starts with RS. I've got the 2, I've got the 3, but I realized I didn't have the RS1. And I bought it in this model because it does come with or without the gold screws. I think the gold screws add a nice touch. Kaweco inspired, no doubt. Might do a review of this. I think I'm going to do a comparison review with this pen. So that will permit me to ink it and play with it and write with it. I'm really enjoying this pen, I got to tell you. I'm falling in love with these, titanium pens. And I realized that this should have been part of my collection a long time ago. And it now is. Unfortunately, I see a little bit of a scuff there. You see that? In the titanium. I don't know what that's all about. I'm not sure I can buff it away, but if anybody of you have any ideas, it might be just in the polishing, which is unfortunate, but it's still a beautifully balanced. I like the weight of these titanium pens. So the MAJOHN RS1 is finally here, and we will take a closer look at this. I've inked it up, and it does come with a cartridge, a mini cartridge at that, or at least this part is, slimmer, so it could fit the barrel. And I just inked my fingers because I noticed there's some residue there from the ink. There you have it, but very nice. So that's the second pen that I wanted to feature in my pen haul. And speaking of pocket pens, some of you have been raving about this one and have been encouraging me to buy one, and I finally did. And it's the Namisu. Nice packaging, by the way. Here you have it. Isn't that gorgeous little guy? I really like this pen. I don't know what took me so long. Again, it's titanium coated. It unscrews. Probably can't write with it without posting it and screwing. So there's, you've got to be able to do that. But it matches up really nice. It's got that nice nib inscription, the N. And this is I believe it's a broad, but I can't recall. We'll take a look at it when I write with it. Really, really nice. I've got to tell you, what a beautiful pen. So now, I've got material. Now, did this come with a cartridge? Oh, this is that mini converter that you can bend so that it fits. I'm not sure if it came with it or if I purchased it separately. I think I had to purchase it separately. But there you have it. So now with these, whoops, I just inked it up. With these 2 new pens, I think I have some material to do a really nice comparison. But stay tuned for that. So those are the 3 pens that I'm featured this week on my pen haul. I hope you enjoyed that, but we will do some writing, at least with, probably with all of them. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. Let's do some writing with these 3 pens that we received. Of course, my beautiful Crena. Beautiful Crena, yeah. Okay, one of you asked me a very, very relevant question. Why do you always write on the right side and never on the left side first? Well, the logic is flawed, but you know, I want a clean page with no ghosting, if I can. And if I have any leftover, I'll go on the second page. So the primary, most important part I want on the right side. And then if there is a spillover, I'll go on the left side. And during the week, if I don't use the left side, well, I'll use it for other reasons, just testing pens, etc. But that's an answer. But having said that, given that he asked that question, I'm going to use the left side first. There you go, because it does make a lot more sense, doesn't it? Okay, let me just close up here. Okay, so this thing is juicy. So we're talking about July. No, we're in August. So 02/08/2026, and this is the pen haul. And the first pen is the Peyton Street pens. So the PSP Saratoga Lotus. The nib is an Imperial Schaefer nib, or Schaefer Imperial nib. Now, forget now, is this steel? Yes, it is. And let me tell you, folks, for a steel, and it's a broad, by the way, it is absolutely magnificent. Top broad-nibbed pen in collection. I've had a few, so I hesitate to say the best, but pretty up there, let me tell you. So I really love this pen. That's number one. Number two, MAJOHN. Boy, let me tell you, that scuff on the cap really bothers me. I'm going to try to see if I can get rid of it, but I got a feeling that it's. Does this screw in? Oh no, it just sits there. Okay, I see. There's kind of like a suction, and it sits there. Let me just clean the section because it's full of ink. This is not the right type of cloth to clean this. I need something else, but better with paper sometimes. So this is the MAJOHN. It's a real difference going from that broad to this fine. RS1 titanium. No, there's no. And it's got that kind of a snaked pattern. It's a new Moon Man that I've never seen before. Before these pocket pens came out. Snake nib, we'll call it. And this is a fine. Now, these pens have sat in the drawer for weeks now, and they write really nicely. No dry nib issues whatsoever. So that's the RS1. And this is my beautiful Namisu or Namisu? Namisu. Here it is. Wow. Feels like a weapon. So this is the Namisu. I don't know if it has a name. Forgotten, actually. Pocket pen. Titanium. the nib. I don't know what nib it, what nib that, it looks like a Bach, but it's a Namisu branded. I don't know if it's supposed to be a broad, but it probably writes like a medium, I would say to you. If it's a fine, it's a really gushy fine. Very nice. Very nice. So yeah, I think I've got in store for you guys a nice comparison video rather than a standalone for these two pens compared to some others that I readily come to mind, including the Ongdi M2. So, and maybe we'll do only titanium, and maybe we'll do, my favorite pocket pen, because things may have changed with these two pens. So there you have the pen all, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me just take one for, there you go. Pen haul, August the 2nd, 2026. Be right back. Okay, so we're back with Pens Revisited. Now, there are a couple of things that I want to revisit with you guys this week, which I think is a follow-up to my video of last Sunday that replaced the recap, which is that comparison between 146 and the 149, along with their fakes and inspirations and clones. And there's a couple of things I think that through the comments I realized I missed or I failed to mention. And that's what I want to deal with in the revisited segment of this recap. First thing is, have I missed any pens that could be, considered clones, inspirations, or even fakes of either the 149 or the 146? And let me explain. I think I've got a few to suggest. First of all, let me explain to you what this is. This is a 146 that I recently received from the bid auction site Invaluable, a site that I use quite often. Now I'm going to put up on the screen the pen that I should have received and that I bid for, and I won the auction at $300 plus transport. It was the similar Burgundy or Bordeaux 149 that I was supposed to receive and that I auctioned and won. The picture shows what looks like a 149, or at least the description was 149 in all the, the description of the pen, the title, etc. And to my great surprise, this is what I received, which is really, I think, a 146. Now, when I put it next to the black 146, it's a little bit bigger. Now, was there such a thing as a 147? I'm not sure. Maybe some of you can help here. Or was this Burgundy just, different era, different year, and we're a little bit bigger? I'm not sure. Was it a limited edition? Again, I'm not sure. It does say, actually, I'm not sure if it says, because, one second, I noticed there's a little bit of, kind of, if that's brass or just, I need to clean this. I don't know if this is special jewelry cleaning cloth, supposed to clean. Let me just, yeah, there's kind of a, that kind of green residue, or that usually is associated with brass or copper. I don't know what that is, or was it glue to glue it back on? I'm not sure, because I'm trying to see. No, that's the serial number. Oh, okay. Germany is on the other side. It says Germany. The center band says Mont Blanc, Meisterstück. There's no picks. The nib looks like a genuine, but kind of a modern, unused nib. And it's a 14K. It is a piston filler, but there's no, is it a piston filler? Yes, it is. No ink window that I can see. So I'm not sure what this is, but I think it's a 146. So I complained and I said to Invaluable Light, where's my 149? I want my 149. You sent me what looks like a 146. I'm willing to buy the 146 as well, but you need to send me my 149. And to my great surprise and shock, they said they don't have the 149. They must have mixed it up, sent it to somebody else, so somebody else got lucky and received the 149 instead of the 146, I'm assuming. Or, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, or perhaps, and I hate to think that that's the case, they never had the 149 and just fooled me into buying it. Having said that, I said to them, look, here's what I propose. I've seen your Burgundy 149s being advertised more than once, so there's a good chance you might get another one. I'm willing to wait, and when you get one, you'll send it to me, and make me a price for this, what looks like a 146. I've yet to hear from them. But so this one obviously did not make, the video, because I received it just recently. I'm not going to ink this until I want to make sure that it's actually mine before I do. So we'll put that aside. But I did miss a couple of other pens that I have received since. This is a Lemon M6A that suspiciously looks like a clone of the 149. It's slightly bigger, longer it is, but it doesn't have the mountaintop. And it doesn't say Meisterstück. It says China, Lemon, Manual, made in China. But as you can see, it is a pretty good clone, right down to the clip. The nib is a lemon nib. At least they're not passing it off as a Mont Blanc. It is a piston filler. It has a kind of blue striped ink window. It's difficult to see here because it's full. So we'll do some writing with that as well later. So that one came to me recently, so it wasn't included in my video. I also received this Fullen, and I don't know the number. This is kind of metal. What's special about this pen is this flex nib. Okay, we'll do some writing with that as well. Sorry. Here you go. That double layered sort of a nib that you've seen before on my channel, Fullen. Then, of course, some of you suggested, well, wait a minute, is the 146 close to a 629 or a 628? Here you have a 629 and a 628. These are 629s. And this is 628, but unfortunately the ones I have are all flat top, more reminiscent of Pro Gears than they are of Mont Blancs, but they do come in cigar shaped. I'm going to put them up on the screen to show you. And I would say that probably the 628 would be the one that would come closest to girth and length if you add on the cigar to the 146. I think that the 629 will make it, it's already just as big, but it doesn't have the points here, and it's much girthier, but it's not as girthy as the 149. So I would say that, yeah, if you get your 628 Wing Sung or Yun Lai, the chances are it will be very similar to the Mont Blanc. Now, in terms of clones, the question that was asked of me that I missed in my video, what is my favorite 146 clone? My favorite 146 clone right now would be these three. This one is much bigger than the real thing. The real thing is this one. As you can see, both of them. These two are just gorgeous pens. We'll do some writing with them in a second. But I got to tell you, this lemon nib now, with this lemon pen with the lemon nib, comes very, very close to imitating both the size and the shape and the writing experience of my 146. As to my 149, the two questions are, were there any pens that I missed? Well, I did include the MAJOHN P140, but in the acrylic. I omitted to show you this one as well. This is the P140 in this hammered titanium. And of course, since my video was made, the JINHAO's come out with the X169s, which are pretty, I would say much inspired by the 149. As far as my favorite is concerned, I should have included this one because this would be probably my favorite Montblanc 149 clone would be this one. Beautiful pen. And we'll do some writing with it as well. So that's what I wanted to include. And now that we've talked a bit, why don't we do some writing? And let's start with the real thing, which is the 146. Where is it? Here it is. Nice weight, nice shape. So again, we're talking about 02, 08, 2026. And this is the pens revisited. And this is the Montblanc .146. By the way, I bought this, I believe it was invaluable, for $150 plus shipping, plus their commission. So maybe I paid $250 for it. Shouldn't pay more than that, and you may even be lucky and pay less. The nib is in excellent shape. The nib is a 14 karat, as we saw. I think this is a medium, maybe even a fine. Actually, I would have to check my records to be sure, but just a great writer. And I haven't written with any of these pens lately, so we shall see if any of them have dry nib issues. But that's my Montblanc 146. Beautiful pen. And I'm glad I got it. It took me some time to get it. Let me just close up a little more. This is amongst my favorite clones of the 146. It has the lemon hand polished. So this is the MAJOHN. Yeah. This is the MAJOHN P136 or TI 136 titanium. The nib is the lemon hand polished. Beautiful. Juicy, wet, smooth. Very, very nice. And I just like the weight of these titanium pens. And this one is just a stunner of a pen. I could imagine maybe one day we'll buy the real one, because this, I understand, is not really a clone of the 146, but a special limited edition 146. I forget what they call it. And this is the MAJOHN. Oh, I forget the name. Anyway, the blue one, you'll know what I mean. Some of you will correct me. And this has the MAJOHN Flex Nib. Whoop, it's railroading on me. Not bad for a pen that sat there for a while. And this is the new Lemon M6A or M6 with another lemon nib. There's many M6As, but this is one of them. And the nib is a lemon hand polished. And I think this is a fine, but it's still very thick for a fine. And with this paper, folks, I mean, talk about a writing experience. Just fabulous. You've got to get a notebook, a Crena notebook, guys. I know I'm exaggerating, but I trust I made my point. Let me just, I won't do any of the wing songs. Let me find what I need to find is just a piece. Do I have a piece of paper anywhere? Okay, because some of that ink is still wet. I'll make a mess. There we go. Just to get a blotter here in between pages. Ah, beautiful. Okay, 149. Here it is. And we'll see the clones that I missed. So this is the yeah, the other one must be fine, the 146, because this medium writes like a broad. And I always put in it premium inks. I forget which ink this is, but I believe it's Sailor. You know, very, very demonstrative ink. Here's my P140 with that new blue nib. Oh, this one dried up on me. Well, there you go. There was one. Let me see. This is a piston. So let me see if because it has no ink, or is it because... Okay, it's not because it's dry. It has no ink in it. Be right back. Actually, why don't we put the... That gives me a chance to fill up malachite. Let's put some malachite in here. Well, first of all, I'm glad it's not the pen. It was just no more ink. Because otherwise, it would have gushed out of my piston, and it didn't. So now this is not the best cloth to... I realize I should get paper. Sometimes with this titanium, you need to get it just a paper with some water is the best thing. Okay, so this is the MAJOHN P140 titanium. And it's the hammered version. I don't know if it's me, but I think the prices of these pens have gone up. I was going to get the one that's not hammered just because I love the pen. And I think it costs more to get one of these now than it did several months and when it came out. And it's got the new blue number 8 MAJOHN nib. And it's a medium. Very, very nice. Yeah. And that blue with the titanium, I find, is a nice contrast. Then, of course, I'm just going to play with one here. The JINHAO X169 is a fabulous... I haven't written with it in a while. That's a good test, just to see if it's kept its flow. So this is the... Oh, yeah. JINHAO X169. And what is it? Volcano red or something like that? forgive me if I'm wrong there. And this is as a is this the fine? Let me just check. Yeah, this is the fine. Wow. Let's play around with the blue, because I think that is the one that has the medium. Yeah. And this is the JINHAO X169. And this is the medium. Well, man, does this right. Oops, let me just... Just fabulous. Just fabulous. Especially on this paper. So there you have it, folks. Those are my pens revisited for this week. Figured I'd kind of touch back and go back to that video. That video had been made and edited and prepared several months ago. So let me know if I missed any other pen that you would consider to be a clone or inspired by the 146 or the 149. Of course, after you see my video, did I miss anything? I put together those that I received since I made that video, but I think I've covered pretty much all bases. There you have it. We'll be right back with my next segment. Okay, we're back with the weapons for next week. Here they are, and here's the theme. I've been reluctant to file away or put away all these pens that you see in front of you. These are, I would say, the pens that I've purchased in the last 2 months, maybe 3. So it's the most recent, my recent purchases or pens that I've received. Of course, we would have to add to that the 3 pens that we just saw earlier. Now there are others. I have in my next to me about another 6 that I'm staring at, but that you haven't seen yet. That were also received in the last couple of months. But these are the ones that you've seen before that I've either reviewed or featured in one of my recaps. And I figured I'd just come back to them and revisit each one of them. So it's a kind of weapons for next week and revisit episode, if you will. But I like these pens, each and every one of them. So let's write with them. This is the N15. We won't write with the actual nib. So this is the, let's see if, and maybe some of them have gone dry. So it's 0208. This is the flex nib, but it just doesn't flex. It is so fine, almost extra fine. So this is the MAJOHN N15. It's kind of a blue resin, blue-green. It's actually gold in there as well. And the nib is the flex nib. Right, so nice. It's nice and thin. Nice and thin. So for those of you who really know what to do with these flex nibs, it's got a good spring back. This is the much maligned, I find, gorgeous pen, but people didn't like it for some reason. This is the Panda Bamboo Dorf bamboo pen. I think it is a gorgeous pen. Just gorgeous. And by the way, Harry has written to me. He said that he's made some new and improved nibs that go with this pen. I believe he said nibs. And he asked me whether or not I'd be interested in reviewing them. And I said, sure, send them along. So he's going to be sending me something else that he's worked on since. And we'll take a look at that product or those products when I get them. So this is the... it's dried up. No, here we go. Panda, I think it's Panda Dwarf. Bamboo pen. And it's the green one because I also have a purple one. The nib is the always reliable Schmidt fine nib. Now, I had mentioned to Harry that one way of, being different these days is kind of providing different nibs and playing with the nib part of the pen. My computer. And maybe that's what he was. I really was referring to him having more than one option, which is more than just the fine, to have the Schmidt, the extra fine, medium, broad. But it looks like he's actually gone into flex, so we shall see what that brings. Then I've got the original D6, the gold one. This may not write. Wrong. Wow. Ongdian D6. This is the gold original. And it comes with the, is it 18 carats or 14 carat? Forget now. It's there, but I can't see it. No, it's the 18. So this is the Ongdian D6 18 karat nib. I think it's supposed to be a fine, but man, it is so juicy and springy. I saw this pen now going on other sites for like over $500, which is unfortunate, but you'll be lucky to find one if you can. It is a gorgeous pen, but over the top. So that's the original. This one's the steel that recently came out, less than $100 now. It has the steel nib, and it's a little bit different. And there's some kind of a commissioned pen. Hongdian gave permission. I'm going to just call it D6. I know there's another name, but this is the steel version. It's a Chinese name, and I just can't remember it. The nib is a steel fine nib, and it is an Ongdian nib. And after weeks of inactivity, this pen writes very, very nice. A lot finer than the 18K. 18K, I find the ink really comes down much more. Just a gorgeous pen, folks. You got to get one. Now, this thing here, I forget the name. Is it a Fullen? Yeah, I just forget. I apologize. It's got a fidget here. A spinner. Really nice. I just love this pen, the way it looks. And I've seen them on Taobao in blue and green. And I think I'm going to order them. But let's see if it still writes. So I'm going to call it Fullen, but I'm not sure. Well, a little bit of railroading there. Green. I'm going to put redwood. Well, might run out. No, this one's dried up on me. Yeah. Well, you can see the ink is kind of dry there, but I think I could still prime it. What I do, of course, is I just take a bottle and just push the ink a little bit down. There we go. You know, if the ink doesn't go to the main section, then it does dry up. I'll call it the redwood barrel. What kind of a nib does it have? It has a wing sung. So maybe it's not a full and it's a wing sung. Number 5 nib. Steel nib, of course. Really nice. Really, really nice. And I just love the look. This was called Hongdian B6. It sells like hotcakes. Next, okay, let's put the blotter in between here because some of that ink is still wet. Okay, I'm back. Once again, when the phone rings, I need to answer it. Where are we? Oh, before we do that one, this pen is fabulous pen. It's a Pen Cheng Yu pin. Peng Cheng Yu pin, or Peng Cheng. Titanium. Look at those swirls. The nib on this thing is just fabulous. It's a Peng Cheng nib. I think Peng Cheng and Tang Moon may be kind of, you know, related. It even posts. It's a very light titanium, I find. So this is the, take a look at this. Peng Cheng. I think they call it the Titanium 2 or the TA2. The nib as a sailor-like touch to it. And I know one of my viewers says, oh, the moment you say sailor-like, I don't like it. And he or she will know who they are. But it's not quite sailor. Okay. It's just very, very crispy. Fine nib. Really, really nice, folks. I can't stop raving about this pen. It's just, I've been using it daily. I think I've inked it already twice. It's just fabulous. Really nice pen. Its sister pen, I think, is not as it's kind of heavy. This is the Peng Cheng. It's the Year of the Horse. It writes just as nice. With the same kind of feel to it. And by that I mean the nib. But the feel in the hands is not the same. It's got a little bit of a slippery section here. Not much, but a little bit. And it's kind of a heavy pen. So it doesn't have that titanium quality, if you will. I think they have the same model in titanium. And I may be getting it just because I just love the titanium. The other one is this. This is the Yongsheng. Yongsheng, I think, is Wing Sung. Again, very nice nib. We'll see if it writes. Yeah, look at this. It's just, I don't know if it's OU or just Yong or Yong Chang. Now, let me just check. It's Yong without the U, and it's Sheng. So without the U. Does it have a number? No, it doesn't. I call it the blue swirl. Problem with this pen and some of these pens where I don't have the name is that I bought them on Taobao, and Taobao has their own description. They never give you, even the Manchong pens on Taobao, they have the more Chinese version of MAJOHN, and it never gives you the number or the exact model number. But again, very nice pen. Resembles a lot the Ongdian pens that had this kind of motif. Ah, this little gem is also very nice. Yeah, very nice. Titanium section, titanium cap, and I believe an aluminum body. What do they call this pen again? Spoke design. And it probably has a model number that I forget. I'm looking at my, it's the Axel TI. And this has a Yowo with an S brand for spoke, and it's a broad. And it's just a gusher. But the pen is so comfortable. And it's out of the box, you know? Outside the box. In other words, it's not something you see every day. You can enjoy the writing experience just by looking at it. I think this is probably going to come with me on my vacation, just because I can throw it around and not worry about, you know, expensive acrylics or the like, you know. It's that type of pen. Really, really nice. What else do I have? Well, you know, you can't not look at the JINHAO 59. I hope they come up with a medium nib. And the MAJOHN. I think the MAJOHN writes nicer, but it's 3 times the price. B32, and I keep saying 23, I think. Again, fine. You can tell this is much wider than the 59, but both excellent writers. This one, for the price, is just fabulous. And I've also, that will be the last, maybe I can find a spot for this without wasting a complete page, but let me just turn here. Here we go. We can put it here. And it's those 2 pens have got me to appreciate my Pilot. This is the Pilot E95S. And you see it's got a medium nib, and it's just so much better, for me anyway. Well, but once in a while, it gives me that skip. Yeah, skip there. That those cheaper versions don't give me. And this is an expensive. This is now going for $240 Canadian. It's got a gold nib, and I understand it's popular and all the rest of it. I still have mixed feelings about this little guy, but you know, I can't say it's not a nice pen. You know, it's a nice pen. So there you have it. Those are my weapons for all the weapons for next week. It's all the pens that I've kind of reviewed and received in the last several weeks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick top 10 here, put them in my big pen case, and go with it for next week. There it is. Stay tuned for my next segment. Okay, we're back. YouTube reviews. What have I got for you? Well, quickly. In terms of my own videos, as you know, last Sunday we published a video comparison between the 146 and the 149 from Mont Blanc, and then each 146 had its own section of fakes, clones, and inspirations that I have in my collection. And you'll see that that theme also was part of my Pens Revisited segment for this recap. And we also published a video on the Peyton Street Pens Schaefer, kind of a Schaefer with the Schaefer nib, the Saratoga from Lotus with the Schaefer Imperial nib, which I think is a great pen. In terms of other reviewers, we have Une Fontaine de Plume, my friend from France, who does a great job reviewing pens. If you need anybody to review things in extreme detail, this is the guy. And he reviewed the MAJOHN B32 Gray Stripes. So if you're interested or curious about B32 and want a detailed review, I welcome this review. And Doodlebud does a review of the new Schaefer Legacy. And, has, I think, some complimentary remarks to make there. So if you're interested and wondering whether or not that should be part of your purchases, well, there you are. Check. I know it's part of mine. It's on my bucket list, and I'm going to take a look at that video. I haven't seen it, but I'm positive that he will give you kind of the straight goods. That's from Doodlebud. That's it for YouTube this week, folks. And that's it for my recap. Please enjoy my video Wednesday. I still haven't decided what I'm going to be publishing. I've got a few there to publish. Then keep in mind, I will be on vacation between August the 8th and August the 24th. And we'll talk about my vacation perhaps next time during my recap. And I'm still thinking about what pens, paper I'm going to bring with me, especially where I'm going. So we'll talk about that, and it'll give me a chance to discuss, traveling with pens once again. So there you have it for this week, folks. Please subscribe. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your pens, your inks, and your paper, and enjoy the great weather with your family. Take care. Bye now.